Let's go ahead and see what it says about Antichrist. If you're new here, my name's Sandra. I love old books, and the insignificant cucks hate me because of it, so we're going over as much history as possible. We're in the Chambers Encyclopedia. These were printed in the 1890s. You can click on the comment and go back and look at the other videos we're going through. If there's something you want me to look up, leave me a comment, but also look through the videos. We've done a whole bunch of stuff. I'll also have my other account tagged because I have another one where we do this. Also, somebody had commented on your comment about religion, and that's another thing that we're going to go over, so make sure to come back for that video. Antichrist, a name by which occurs only in the epistles of St. John and is identified by different writers with more or less probability with false Christ and other enemies of Christianity. The Greek preposition anti has the twofold meaning of substitution or of opposition, and the two meanings of a rival of Christ or pretender to be the messiahship and an opponent are mixed up in the early Christian conceptions of Antichrist, in which various stages of development are to be distinguished. 1. The false Christ, whose appearance was predicted by Jesus as to precede the coming of the Son of Man, Matthew 24, were pretenders whose success would depend on those acting in harmony with the popular expectations regarding the Messiah, but showing no special opposition to the gospel. There is nothing peculiar to Christianity in this idea, for a number of pretenders to the Messiahship appeared among the Jews, both before and after the time of Christ. The other idea of opposition on the part of an anti-Messiah were also a familiar one. 1 John 2:18, its earliest form in Jewish thought is probably that of a warrior king, Gog, in Ezekiel 38. We'll have to check that out. To this were subsequently added by the rabbinical imagination features borrowed not only from Antiochus Epiphanes, who is depicted in the book of Daniel 2:8-11, and who was regarded as the type of enmity against the kingdom of God, but from all the Old Testament enemies of Israel, Balaam, Goliath, etc., and even the Oriental myths and tradition, all combined the personified under the name Armilus. In reference to the after development of the Christian conception, it is to be noticed that the false Christs of Matthew 24 are Jews, who by their pretensions are to bring trouble upon their nation. You don't fucking say. Sorry, if you're new here and you don't know how I feel, I think that religion is all a lie. God doesn't do organized religion. I have an amazing relationship with God, but I feel like the Bible was at one point, some of it's real, but then the Blues found it and decided they were going to change it to fit their narrative because it's an easy way to control people. 2. The development of this conception is apparent in the epistles of St. Paul inasmuch as the element of hostility to the gospel is distinctly present. The apostle to the Gentiles had to bear the brunt of Jewish opposition. First Ephesians 2:15, and the man of sin in whom this opposition came to a head can only be a Jew, since he regards the temple at Jerusalem as the seat of God's worship. 2 Ephesians 2:3-4, whilst the Roman power by which he had repeatedly been delivered from the fanaticism of his court countrymen would appear to be the hindrance by which Jewish enmity has held in check, till the time appointed for its complete manifestation. 2 Ephesians 2:7-8. The idea of a false Christ, who also blended with that of a spiritual antichrist, see 4 below, whether as the hero of the Jewish revolution or as false teachers, the man of sin, was a mere human representative of Satan, the instigator of all wickedness. 2 Ephesians 2:9, 2 Corinthians 6:14-15. We'll have to go check out all these verses too. 3. In the third stage, which is represented in the Apocalypse, Antichrist is identified with heathenism. Till the time of Nero, the Christians had never come into direct collision with the Roman power, but by them, as well as by Jews, the Roman Empire was now regarded as the fourth kingdom of Daniel's vision. Caligula, by ordering his image to be set up in the Holy of Holies, had repeated the abomination of desolation, Matthew 24:15, Daniel 10, verse 11, and proved himself the antitype of Antiochus. And when Nero, after the burning of Rome, made a scapegoat of the Christians so that they were subjected to all the tortures that a fiendish ingenuity could devise, it was only natural that this monster of cruelty and vice should appear to them the incarnation of wickedness, the Antichrist, a wild beast out of the bottomless pit. Revelations 11:7 and 12:3, also 13:1-6. The popular belief that Nero would reappear from the east after his death, whether expressed in Revelations 17 verse 8 or not, was probably due to the supposed parallel between Christ and the Antichrist. The return of the one required the return of the other, the names of which the number of the beast, 666, Revelations 13:18, has been found to apply. From the end of the first century to the present day are innumerable. See Schaff's History of the Christian Church. That if Nero has always been in the list, but it is quite a recent discovery made by several scholars independently and almost universally accepted, that his name answers to it exactly in Hebrew characters. Oh my God, we're going to have to go over this, y'all, because I found something else in here that goes along with this. Although, even thus, the necessary application to Nero is disputed in one of the latest and best orthodox interpretations of the Apocalypse, Milligan Baird Lecture, 1886. See, apocalyptic number, that's what I'm talking about. We're going to go look at that. In recent times, Muhammad, the Grand Turk, Napoleon I, and Napoleon III have all been identified with Antichrist. 4. A fourth phase of the New Testament conception of Antichrist appears in the epistles of St. John, in which the name first occurs. 1 John 2:18. Antichrist was a spirit animating certain teachers within the church itself. Indeed, just as in the general aspect of the Pauline conception, the real Antichrist is Satan, whose representatives the false teachers are. It is they who are the teachers of error, the ministries of the God of this world. The conflict is between truth and error, light and darkness, Christ and Belial. 1 John 2:19 and 4:1-6. Many of the reformers treated the Pope as Antichrist, and in the Schmalkald articles, the identification long held to by many Protestants in all lands became a part of Lutheran doctrine. See Davidson's Introduction to the New Testament, 1868. So again, I wish I had these books. Okay, make sure to come back because we are going to go over the apocalyptic number because that shit's crazy.